Hey out there, this is Thursday, January 6th, 2020. And it is just about 8:46 in the morning here in Northern California. And today I'll get into a few subjects as usual. You know, what I like to tell people is that my motto is basically life's short, get smart quick. So you want to get as much information as possible to make right decisions in life, to think right thoughts, to speak right words, to take real actions. And it's important to be informed in order to be empowered. And you need to be empowered to make change, to make changes in the things that bug you. And everybody's got things that bug them. And those are the kind of things I get into. I get into what I call the psycho-spiritual, socioeconomic, political kind of stuff. Existential, perhaps. Things that affect humanity and affect our welfare and the forces that work against us, the tyrannical forces. I like people to understand the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's all I'm after. And I'm just trying to be a friend to God and by extension humanity. I put God first because no human being can save my life. I might be delusional in some ways, but like I always say, I may be nuts, but I'm not crazy. But I know that nobody can save my life. I know that because I can't save anybody's life. So while we're very important to each other, and there's a vast number of people, surely, who would die for you, you understand, take your place in your stead. They would die for you in protecting you. Lots of people. I might even be one of them. Okay, you never know till the chips are down. You can talk big, but, action speaks much louder than words, right? So, but the point is that as much as we can genuinely love, care, and want to protect another human being, we can't ultimately save their lives, right? We all know that only God can do that. So we all have to understand fundamentally, get our priorities straight. It's like the two commandments Jesus gave us that supersede everything. He said basically the law and the prophets are fulfilled if you can just follow these two simple commandments. Remember, he said his yoke is easy, his load is light. So following the teachings of Christ truly is the path of least resistance. I mean, if you really want to get someplace better, you want to get rid of the things that bug you. And I speak of things not only organically that are across the board, organic, going back to the original sin, the fall of man and the subsequent curse, right? When we ate the fruit from the tree of forbidden knowledge, right? Basically, that's the way the story goes. Metaphor, analogy, allegory, whatever, parable, whatever you think that to be, it had very real life effects on the human race since that time. That it was never God's intention that we had experienced anything organically bad. We were never supposed to die. And right away, you're going to get all these scoffers that'll say, hey, we'd overpopulate if people didn't die. Well, it's a circle of life. I've heard it all. But listen, just use your God-given imagination and understand that, look, once the earth is populated to God's satisfaction, he merely pulls the fertility seed. I mean, that's it. So we can have as much relations we want with our spouses, but, we're not going to have any more kids. Purportedly, from people I trust, they say, hey, somewhere around the age of 32, kind of the prime of your life, is the time we'd stop aging. And so, to answer the question whether there'll be any children there, I mean, God only knows. I mean, he's got, remember, an infinite universe. He can pull stuff right out of his mind and make it manifest in a very solid, concrete, tangible way, which we call atomic structure, Then some scientists say it seems to be all a simulation, It doesn't matter. You see, we're part of something big and cosmic here. And we've got big shoes to fill. We've got a big responsibility to God and to humanity. It goes hand in hand. So I'm a servant of humanity is the point I was trying to, I digressed a bit, but basically it comes down to that. I want to be a friend to God and a servant to God above all else. And then by extension, by default position, what happens is automatically you become a friend to humanity. And that's what I want to do. I want to be happy. You see, I'm a selfish man. And I know I figured out a long time ago I can't go it alone. I figured out that I don't care how much money I could amass, it could never make me happy. In fact, it's a real turnoff, man. As more and more, when I see this wealth imbalance just keep growing, this disparity between the haves and have-nots, more and more poor, hopeless people in America, and the gap is just widening. It's like there's no end in sight. This thing's got legs, it's got momentum, and I'm afraid to death of what it's going to take to stop it, to turn it around. I mean, it's just, you could just see the demons are going to be seething with hatred. And, don't do it. Don't try. Don't think your problem's overwhelming. We got to stay on this trajectory of death and destruction. We got to go with these freaks, these maniacs at the top, these genocidal freaks. That's who they are. Look up at the Georgia Guidestones. They want to get rid of over 90% of the population of the earth. And they come out with these altruistic statements on these new monuments, these new 10 commandments of theirs. It's bizarro world. I mean, it really is surreal. Okay, and I just want to wake people up. I want to, like, if metaphorically whack you over the head. You got to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. This is crazy town, man. This is way beyond, this is Twilight Zone on mutant steroids. The reality. I mean, talk about reality being stranger than fiction. We're a part of this. We're made in the image and likeness of God. We're all like little gods. We're God's children. So it all makes perfect sense. It's all logical. The mind of God, you can swim in either the muddied, bloodied waters of that New World Order cabal, this freaky bunch of power-drunken nutbags at the top of this perverted power pyramid of power. These are the money printing class. Remember, and they're using these top politicians as their lackeys. Do you understand? That's all they are to these people. It's totally out of control. I mean, biblically, it's like the beast system is in place. They don't want to stop. They cannot. They need to be parented, but is there any human, any group of humans on earth, can we unify enough to do that job? That's a big question mark for me. And that's why I'm always saying, all I can tell you is we need God. We need God. Okay, all that organic suffering, I want to differentiate between that and the artificial, invented suffering that's shoved down our throats from birth. And we're all gradually inculcated, indoctrinated, trained over a long period of time to accept this madness. Okay, I mean, these people are affecting every speck of our reality. We're being manipulated up one side, down the other, and to the nth degree by these monsters. Okay, you've got to understand the people that are parenting us. The people that need to be parented are parenting us. Okay, we the people. We're the masters of these people. Is that the paradigm? Is that what we're seeing? Do we, the people, have the power over these people when we got 90% of the American people opposed to the bailout of '08, and yet it gets rammed through at the hands of less than 10% of the American public and a handful of elitist criminal politicians that rubber stamp this thing, that put us in debt like this and said, oh, these people are too big to fail, they're too big to jail, we've got to do this thing. And so that 10% of the American people are telling the other 90% of the American people, you're stupid, you just don't understand the dynamics here. You just don't. If you did, you'd be on our side. Okay, so when you get smart, you'll come over to us. You understand? You're just the dumbed down masses. You're the useless feeders out there. We don't need you anyhow. Wake up and smell not the roses or the coffee. It's a stinking pile of maggot-ridden dog dung. Okay, and I'm telling you, we've stepped in it deep. We're up to our freaking earlobes, man. I mean, I'm afraid. If I sound scared, I am. And once a week, I don't talk like this throughout the week. I I try to make people laugh, smile at least, and I'm a pretty nice guy. I make friends easily. Friends all over. Wherever I go, I make friends. People like me, generally speaking. I'm trying to be as nice a guy as I can, but I'm disturbed. I'm frustrated. I'm anxious for change, man. And not for me. I've got a good life, but I can't freaking enjoy it, man. Every night I go to bed, I say, God, you're so freaking good to me. I love you so much. I love the people in my life. I'm so freaking lucky. But I say, God, you know what? I want it to be better for everybody else on the face of the earth. That would make me happy. Just a little bit, even a little bit. Then I could enjoy a little more. You understand? That's what's going to make me happy. You understand? I know that. So I'm a selfish man. You understand how selflessness is entangled with selfishness? I just want to be happy and free. Freedom is at the top of that list because happiness is comprised of a lot of different elements. Right? It's a nebulous thing to be happy, right? I mean, it's just, I need this, I need that, I need the next thing. And by the way, all this organic suffering you speak of, look, the sunlight, the other day I was driving, I don't know if my eyes are getting more sensitive, what's going on. I try to keep a fairly clean windshield, but I'll tell you what, I was putting on the brakes at 25 miles an hour, I could not see in front of me. I could not see anything. Okay, I mean, it's as freaky as driving into a thick fog bank. I mean, if you can't see 10 feet in front of you, you can't effectively safely drive an automobile. So, all this organic stuff, and that's what I'm talking about. The scripture says a lot of detail about what it's going to be like at the renewal of all things that Christ promised. This is a big deal. This is really good news. I mean, when death itself was swallowed up in victory, can you imagine? I mean, that's a big freaking deal. That's beautiful. And to think that nobody has ever died, we shouldn't think of anybody as dead. We're supposed to emulate God, and to God it's written, all are alive. There's going to be a resurrection of the dead. Everybody that ever lived, every human soul, maybe the animals too, I don't know. You talk that over with God if you want the specifics on that. I think there's going to be plenty of, all dogs go to heaven. I'm an all dogs go to heaven kind of guy. Yeah, full of puppy dogs and kitty cats, I think. Or it wouldn't be heaven. But understand, every organic suffering is going to be gone. The sun is never going to be too bright. That was the point about the sun. I feel assaulted by that sun being too bright. It's giving people skin cancer. Okay, it's a big problem. Blinding people. What do you think causes cataracts? UV light. That's why I go in now. One of my eyes is defective from looking into the sun too much. You think it's funny? I mean, that song by Manfred Mann, Mama always told me not to look in the sun, and it's like, but Mom, that's where the fun is. And so, we've all tried to see if that's true or false, right? And looked into the sun. But I mean, sometimes in my line of work, I was just yesterday, or the day before, I was trimming a hedge. I mean, the thing is 10 feet tall minimum. I'm up at the tippy top of an 8-foot step ladder getting this thing cut. I'm looking right into the sun. I got to change, because it's so annoying. I mean, it's just too bright.